current temperatures just absolutely brutal this morning around Hibbing, Minnesota. 38 degrees below zero. That is the current temperature. Whew. Cape Girardeau's at 9. 12 in Jackson, Tennessee. 15 in Memphis with some light snow coming down. All right, current temperatures show the coldest air just kind of sitting here, and a piece of it across the northern tier. And what we will see over the next couple of days is a good chunk of this coming due south. And I'm telling you, if the forecast models verify, I would keep an eye on this in Texas all the way to Florida, because you could be talking about some extreme cold with this thing coming on in. Now, what's going to unleash all this, or unleash, I should say, is this low. That unleashes the Arctic air behind it, and the center of that high comes down into Texas and then oozes toward Florida. And I'm talking about some big changes there coming as we work our way through Monday and Tuesday, developing high plains winter woes. What's going on? Well, our moisture not only coming in from the Pacific with our system, but it'll also start to get tapped from the Gulf before the cold air moves in. So that's going to pull this warm, moist air over the top of the low-level cold. And you're talking about a mess in through here. Wednesday, Thursday, the bulk of our snow will be in the high country still. And, of course, with our Arctic high building on in, the warm, moist air over the top of that, you're going to have all sorts of freezing rain problems. I mean, this is going to be awful, and I mean awful. Freezing rain, a big problem across the Tennessee Valley, maybe even farther north than that. I mean, sometimes when you get that low-level cold air, it could be 20 meters, 100 feet and through here, and we could have temperatures in the single digits to teens with freezing rain. I mean, that is just the worst. So prepare yourselves for this. Snowfall, and then it gets enhancement back across northeast Pennsylvania. When the jet stream coming overhead tends to evacuate the air over the area at the surface, you get a little enhancement to the precip, and that's what's going on here. Scranton, Poughkeepsie, on over to Springfield, Hartford. You could see some more moderate bursts come on through. A general 1 to 3 inches possible. And that's about the best we can do here as this thing pulls on through. This is all rain from Salisbury on west toward Macon and Columbia in South Carolina. So here's our wintry weather in the east. Our snow streaking out, mostly flurries in through here, but as far as accumulating snows, they may be from the front range on eastward. Heavy mountain snow, as we talked about, and this will just continue to pull east. Now, as the cold air drops on and the warm, moist air starts to flow over the top of that, here's that problem I'm talking about, the ice. That's the ice that we're looking at as we work our way into Thursday. And it just gets worse, as we'll talk about with our Weekend Outlook, which is sponsored by 104 Plus Solutions Emissions Control. And you may need a little bit of that to boost yourself here as we work our way through the next several days. Highs on Thursday, you can see these are highs below 20 degrees below zero. This is the next Arctic surge dropping on southward as we work our way into Friday. First spot it takes over is Texas. It's going right down into Texas. Temperatures in the teens for Dallas possibly here as we get in towards Saturday. We could even be a little colder than what we're showing here. A lot of the keys are snowpack and how intact this Arctic air stays. But it should come due south and then move east. No problems. I mean, that's looks like it's going to be the scenario. And still, you're talking about some cold air, maybe even some 20s for highs in Georgia, places like Atlanta, maybe even Charlotte if it gets across the mountains for Sunday. So this may even be a little bit optimistic. But the big problems with the precip, again, we are warm, moist air over those single-digit temperatures on Thursday. Ice, light snow to the north of that. This all streaks east with that fast-moving jet and then winds up on the coast for Saturday and Sunday.
Well, some folks will see it. Some folks may not see a thing. Most folks will see some flurries, and AccuWeather says maybe about a coating of snow. Let's see if we're seeing anything on the Schuylkill Expressway as we check in live on the action cam, and the answer is not much. Traffic moving quite nicely here. And in fact, traffic should move quite nicely throughout the region, throughout the morning. There may be some slick spots as snow falls around the region and hits some roadways and freezes. We'll check the current conditions for you. We have cloudy skies. We do have a few showers around in spots right now and flurries as well. 36 degrees our present temperature. Today's exclusive AccuWeather forecast. Some snow still possible, very light, confined to the morning, maybe a coating. Temperatures actually falling through the 30s as we go through the day. Colder air coming in. If you're going to be down the shore today, we're going to have some snow and some rain. Morning, that's it. No big deal, no heavy accumulation or anything like that. By this afternoon, clearing, cold, temperatures falling through the 30s at the shore as well. Poconos, we'll see a little bit of snow, maybe an inch to 2 or 3 in the Poconos, and temperatures falling through the 30s in the Poconos as well today. Well, we check weather history, and we have had no major complaints, huh? Yeah, how about that? Well, here's the story in January. We've had a ton of weather problems, but at least it wasn't one of the coldest. That's good news. The dubious honor of the coldest January ever belongs to January 1977, when the city's temperature averaged out to 18.6 degrees. Now, at the other extreme, you have Atlantic City. January 1990 was their warmest ever, with the temperatures averaging out to 40.6 degrees. And finally, it wasn't even close to a record, but it sure was nice. You remember this 3 years ago? 1993, Philadelphia hit a high temperature of 57 degrees, and folks got out and enjoyed it. It was part of an unseasonably warm trend that stretched from Richmond, Virginia, up to the Delaware Valley. We're going to have, we have seasonable temperatures right now. We're going to have unseasonably cold air moving in. We're also tracking another storm for week's end and for the weekend. Back inside to Rick and Monica.
All right. Thank you, David. There is much more to come.